The U.S. government is in a shutdown state. We find out how this impacts Aruba. Plus, in today's lifestyle segment, we give couples who are in a long-distance relationship a new and improved way to be intimate. And we take you on an inside look of the new venue for the island's 7th annual Caribbean Sea Jazz Festival. 15 on 15 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yanta Liu. Aruba is 85 to 90% dependent on its tourism industry. Since Americans are the island's #1 market, there are concerns that the shutdown of the U.S. government could impact Aruba. I had an extensive interview with the CEO of AHATA to explain further. According to Jim Heppel, the CEO of AHATA, the shutdown of the U.S. government would have impacted Aruba's airport due to the U.S. Border Protection and Immigration. Reason being, the immigration officers would not be paid for their labor. Luckily, the Federal Service has agreed to continue operations as normal.
Well, the concern obviously is the U.S. government's Customs Border Protection facility at the airport. And we've had conversations with the head of the operation, Jim Grimes. And he's been very helpful, and he's basically made it clear that even though the officers are not being paid because of the shutdown, they're going to continue to work. So the first thing I want to say is to express our appreciation to the officers and to Mr. Grimes for making sure that the facility continues to operate.
Jim explains that right across the U.S. federal system, workers are working under an IOU basis. Technically speaking, they are not allowed to be paid, but it is understood that on some level they will be compensated. If the U.S. Customs Border Protection and Immigration didn't agree to work, it would have significantly impacted the convenience of U.S. travelers.
If, I mean, this is purely hypothetical, but if, it would mean that there was no pre-clearance facility here, and that all the flights, passengers would have to be cleared at the arrival point in the United States. And now that happens occasionally with some of our flights. If they go out late, for example, and the CBP facility is closed, then they clear when they arrive. So they would have to be clear when they got to Miami rather than here. They had to clear when they got to New York rather than here, or Atlanta, or anywhere like that.
U.S. government consulate services will not be impacted. They will remain functional since it is on a fee basis, meaning the island's closest U.S. consul in Curacao will be opened and operating. Washington is Aruba's 4th largest U.S. tourism market after New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. On average, 20,000 Americans visit the island a year from Washington. In the bigger picture, the island's tourism numbers in December and January could be negatively impacted due to the shutdown. Here's why.
The concern is bookings, that we're getting into October, November when people start booking for January, February, March. Most people book 3 months out, you see, so a lot of people will now be thinking about their January, February, March vacation. So they don't know how long this is going to last. They don't know what the impact is going to be on their income. They don't know whether or not they'll be able to afford a vacation. So I can imagine there's going to be some slowdown in people checking and booking and making reservations out of Washington, certainly until this is resolved.
Mr. Heppel says the shutdown of the U.S. government puts things into perspective as to how much Aruba depends on its tourism, reinforcing the significance in diversifying.
How much Aruba is dependent on circumstances outside of its control. This is something which is happening in the United States. And one of the things that everyone is attempting to do is to diversify, to make sure that we're not dependent on one market. So if this thing really goes on for an extended period of time, we're very fortunate that we've been developing business out of Latin America. We have our business out of Europe, we have our business out of Canada. So, I mean, diversification is a good thing, and equally, clearly, when you're 85%, 90% dependent on the tourism industry, then clearly it's always good to have a second and third string to your bow. So.
The last time the U.S. government shut down was back in 1995 and 1996. Online sources say if history is any indication, the shutdown won't last for very long, or it will be stretched into a 7-period day. On that note, we will be right back and take a look to see what is coming up next. most of us know that long-distance relationships can be tough, but technology is paving ways for it to be easier for couples to be intimate. Check this out.
You're not going to know where it comes from.
Forget sexting. There is now a new and more exciting way to combine sex and technology together. Condom manufacturer Durex has developed Fundawear, a high-tech vibrating underwear that stimulates at the touch of a button, meaning long-distance relationships have never been easier. Here's how it works. The couple puts on the Fundawear, pants for men, bras and underwear for women naturally. Then users drag their fingertips across a body diagram on the iPhone app. This sends signals to set off the mini vibrators in the underwear, which creates touch sensations as if the couple were in the very same room. Who knows what technology will be able to do next? In other lifestyle news, if you are looking to lose weight, all you have to do is sniff the scent of olive oil. By simply smelling olive oil may help you to lose weight. In a study, a group of men who ate yogurt with the olive oil extract had increased blood flow in brain areas typically associated with fat consumption, even though the overall fat content of the snack was low. Scent of olive oil helps you to feel full. It's important to note that this isn't the first time studies have shown that olive oil can increase feelings of satiety and fullness. So you've had your fair share of beers. You open beer, drink beer, and then repeat. Well, experts are saying you've been doing it all wrong. Before you down your next beer, it's time to learn the all-important and often ignored beer pour. The first rule is all beers should be poured into a cup, preferably into a glass. Why, you may ask? For the very same reason that you would never, ever consider drinking wine straight from the bottle. You need to see the beer, smell it, and properly taste it. So here is how you do it. Experts pour their beer by tipping the glass at a 45-degree angle. You have to do it by aiming halfway down the inside of the glass so it pours against the side until 2/3 full. Slowly tip the glass back upright and pour the remaining beer into middle of liquid. This helps to develop a thick foam on the beer, which is a good thing in terms of both presentation and flavor. Cheers to that. Stay with us. We have more coming up next. Aruba is set to host its 7th annual Caribbean Sea Jazz Festival. The lineup this year is diversified in hopes of appealing to various demographics. Furthermore, workshops involving children has been incorporated this year as well. Organizers of the festival say the event is very necessary to keep the art alive right here in Aruba. Marquise Scott is a dancer. His big break came when a YouTube video went viral. You may have seen him on Ellen or even the Today Show. He jumped at the opportunity to come to Aruba for the Jazz Festival.
Well, I mean, Aruba, there it is. That's my reaction. Like, Aruba? What? Get to go to Aruba for a jazz festival? Heck yeah.
Marquise will be conducting workshops for some of the children on the island. The kids will show him their moves, and he, of course, will reciprocate.
I mean, that's the way to keep the kids off the street and keep them active in something positive. So I definitely feel good about doing that.
Marquise has a few words of advice for the young dancers on the island who wants to make it big in the industry.
Well, what I would say to them is, like, for one, you can never give up, because as soon as you give up, you've lost, you know? So as long as you stay dedicated and stay motivated and focused, then you can achieve anything. For that, I would say make sure, like, if they're trying to be successful, make sure you have all the necessary requirements, like a bio, headshots, build your resume, do free gigs if you have to, you know, just to build up your portfolio. And other than that, I mean, and perfect your craft. Like, don't try to go too fast. Make sure that you master your craft before you try to make a career out of it. That's the only way it's going to be fruitful, is if you're better than someone else.
There's been a change of location for the venue this year. The Jazz Festival gets bigger and bigger year after year, so more space was needed. Eric Amon, one of the organizers of the festival, says the event sets out to attract tourism.
People from all over, Europe, Holland, the United States, Venezuela, Colombia. We have people coming in from Brazil. So it is actually one of the objectives is to attract tourism. On the other hand, it's an added value for tourists that are already here. It's also locally interesting for for the culture, for the musicians, the artists, because there's a lot of stuff going on around it, as you just heard from Marquise. He's doing workshops for kids, so that is also, we're trying to get the attention of the kids as well.
Besides for great artists, music, and show, this year's festival was designed with the younger generation in mind.
For kids, it's very important to stay. You have to keep them culturally active. I think if not, they hang around the television all day, or they. So for me, it's important to get kids involved as early as possible.
Events like these keeps it interesting for the local artists who pursue their dreams on the island. Music festivals helps to keep the art alive.
Local musicians, if they're really talented, they leave. And so for us, the ones that stay behind, it's important to keep some sort of activity, so that also the local artists that are here and the talented, that they have something to do, something to look forward to as well. And also the artists, they actually look forward to compete every year with the paintings and now we do this flash mob with Marquise, with the dancers. So they're already like months preparing that, and that's really a positive thing for me.
Latin Night is scheduled on Friday with headliners such as Willie Garcia. On Saturday, multiple Grammy Award winners such as George Benson will take the center stage. General admission is $50. Teens and students can get in for just 10 florins. For more information, go to www.caribbeansjazz.com. That is our show for today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back here at the same time Friday night right here on ATV Channel 15.